like to go ahead and call the East China Township Board meeting for June 5th, 2023 to order, please. So clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Westrick?
Here.
Clerk Smith here. Treasurer Hart?
Here.
Trustee Babel? Here. Trustee Blackstock?
Here.
Trustee Knotts?
Here.
Trustee Richley?
Here.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the agenda, we have a couple items. We have a letter here to discuss possible recreation program manager and the advisory board. That'd be new business 11. Water plant superintendent training request we'll label as new business 12. And then the St. Clair Area Fire Authority does a fire run report. We'll label that under C7, consent agenda number 7. With those changes, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Moved by the clerk. Is there
Support.
Support? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes, last meeting, everybody get a chance, take a look. Comments, questions? If not,
I'll motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Ms. Hart?
Support.
Support by, is that Mr. Richley down?
Yep.
Mr. Richley, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Presentations, guest speakers, Pat?
Want me to present anything?
You could do the public comment section too if you want.
Thank you for asking.
Consent agenda, the C1, the financials report, April 2023. The departmental reports are all included in the book here. 3 is Marine City Area Fire Authority April 2023 report, and 4 is St. Clair Area Fire Authority report. 5 is the contractor pay applications for the drinking water, state revolving fund. C6, Park Commission minutes, March and April of 2023, and of course C7, St. Clair Area Fire runs, authority that we've added. They're all on there.
I have a comment.
Okay?
Regarding the Park Commission minutes, I know it's in there that talking about again, putting in new poles for the lights at Manor Park. Brought this up once before. That's a neighborhood park. We get enough light pollution as it is. They want to, I understand they want to change the lights to LEDs, which is a really good idea because they're so much cheaper than the halogens. But just to put them on the same poles, leave alone, the people are used to that particular level of light. There's plenty of light for security. You can't, we don't want anybody playing there overnight anyway, and the park closes at 10. And I've lived there for 30 years. My house just so happens is the closest one to the park. I'm about 20 yards from that playground. And I sit there and watch the kids play all the time. And by the way, they love the new equipment. I don't know sure they play on it like they're supposed to, but they're great. 2 days after they put that thing in, there were 2 kids sitting on top of that bar 12 feet up there. But, and you know, I sit on the back porch, we've got it's literally 20 feet from my fence, and my fence is 15 feet from the back of my house. And I am the closest one, but it is surrounded on 3 sides by houses. It's a neighborhood park. So what I'm asking is, I don't have any problem with them putting in the LEDs, but the business about adding more poles and more lights, please don't do that. And if it comes
Is
up.
that the one that's on page 2 of the?
Page
April
204, it says Manor Park, prefer new poles in addition to the ones that are there. No, I don't prefer new poles in addition to the ones that are there.
What-
They're the poles, the current poles are on opposite, the park is a little bit longer than it is wide, and the new current poles are on the opposite sides of the long length, opposite corners. It's fine for security purposes of the equipment. And like I say, it's been, as far as I know, there had been a problem for quite a while. I sit there and watch it the afternoons with a beer. So, please, let's change the LED lights and save the township some money. Let's not increase the light pollution in the neighborhood park.
Got it.
Yeah, I think it says prefer new poles addition that will accommodate the LED lights.
Yeah, I don't think they were
All right.
planning on adding any.
Any other comments or questions?
Replacing.
If not, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Mr. Ridgely,
Support.
support by Mr. Blackstock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Disbursements, Ms. Hart.
We have payroll disbursements, $121,203.49. Accounts payable, $265,085.80. EFTs, $32,410.06. E-checks, $604.60. Tax account checks, $38.09. And invoices in a total of $855,861.71, with a grand total of $1,275,203.75.
I'll support that.
You made a motion?
I say I'll make a motion
You just did. You didn't read the whole thing.
in the
Any
total.
other comments, questions, discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call vote, Treasurer Hart.
Yes.
Trustee Babel? Yes. Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Knotts?
Yes.
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Full business, one cemetery columbarium purchase.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of 2 columbarium walls at the estimated cost of $68,000 using the ARPA funds.
Okay, we discussed this briefly at the April 3rd meeting. We now have the estimated cost for crane and foundations included in here now, so I believe that's going to be a total cost. That would cover everything.
On point of order, do you have support?
Yes.
Pardon me?
Is there a support?
I didn't hear a support yet.
I'll support.
Mr. Blacktop, okay.
I do have a question. The perpetual care fund, it does, like the state of Michigan says that you can use those funds for the grounds and purchase of columbariums and things like that.
We can't use those funds. It's all like in a trust, is that?
Yeah, what you can do is you can divert the interest, but not the actual initial fund. Or the initial funds. If you get $45,000 in there, that $45,000 has to remain intact.
Okay, because there's like 49,000, almost 50,000 in there.
There can be, I think I brought this up a couple of years ago, there's a creative way to get that interest more, so you can allocate it to other uses, but we haven't investigated that. But there is an option to investigate that, but it would have to start from your current balance, you can't dip backwards.
I note that this says to use the ARPA funds. Are we okay with that?
We
Yep.
have to use.
I mean, you have the money, it's not, and it can be used for that thing.
Yes.
Yes, we confirm that that is an acceptable.
Okay. Do you have a support yet?
We do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ms. Ridgely.
The issue that I have, I'm all, obviously we have to do this, but this is assuming we can still use the ARPA funds?
Yeah, there's no problem with the funds. What they were talking about with what you were discussing is completely different set. And Cindy can maybe help me here, but it's nothing to do with funds that are already distributed. It has one that are allocated and not distributed yet.
Right. The thing is that, because I got a hold of Lisa McLean's office today finally, after about a week, and they're not sure whether, because I told them what the MTA said on that forum, we got the email, and they said they were gonna get back to me by today, but I didn't hear anything back yet, but.
Yeah, actually, her office and Gary Peters' office both told me that is true, that they can't take these funds back. So I know I don't have anything in writing like you requested, but they told me last week that, no, they can't.
That's what they're
So-
going to take care of.
Can't imagine what could do.
So-
It's one of those things where they pass something and they're like, okay, we'll find out what's in it afterwards. But I mean, either way, whether we can't use these funds, we can still use the general fund.
Yeah,
Because we have
well,
money.
obviously, if we appropriate ARPA funds for this, and then they were lost, we wouldn't do
We
that.
can always revisit it.
Yeah,
We have $1.6 million in our fund balance,
Yeah.
so we're.
You can always revisit this if you say you're gonna do this with ARPA funds, and something happens, which I don't think will, then we have to revisit the action.
But I mean, if we spend
Right.
the money, then
Although it
at that
doesn't
point,
matter.
we'd have to pay it back. So then, that would be from the
That-
general fund.
that- go ahead.
Clarification. So when we say allocation, the federal government allocated money to the states. That money has been distributed already. So that can't be taken back because they've distributed it. If the money had been allocated, the state's been holding it and haven't given it to us yet, those are the funds that they're talking about,
And there's some states
That
that
was,
as I understand it.
right, the legislative director said that's pretty much what his understanding is, but he's not 100% sure, so.
Because as far as once it's been distributed, it's considered spent.
as far as the government's concerned.
And
I just
that
wanna-
form that you had to fill out saying we're using it for whatever, remember that deadline that we had last year?
It was for general operations, government
So
operations.
they dumped
I
it,
just want it in writing
they
before.
dumped it,
No, but
they just dumped it in the general funds.
I have a question too, and I'm sure Cindy can answer this. Did you say at one point that several townships or wherever that the money was put in, they didn't use it, so it's been taken back or dispersed to other townships?
No, what happened is not everyone opted in.
Okay.
So if you chose not to receive ARPA funds and the state had already
Okay.
figured that formula that you would receive and distribute, whatever wasn't distributed, they reformulated and
And redistributed.
sent out to all those that wanted to take
Okay.
out.
Gotcha.
We have the money, it's just a matter of,
Right.
yeah.
And I think we should start using it
Yeah.
before we do lose it if for some reason, you know.
yeah, I've got some more comments for that when we get down to number 9.
Okay.
Call for a vote, please.
Any other discussions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call vote, trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Nuts?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. New business 2. I'm sorry, new business 1. Jumping ahead here, thought I did one already, that was over. Marine City Area Fire Authority and St. Clair Area Fire Authority budget approval. They both had meetings and hashed out the new budgets for the upcoming year. Some people work on a different fiscal year, so that's why they do them kind of early, but we wouldn't do this. But this is for next year, and our portions are shown here, $141,889 for St. Clair Area Fire Authority and $86,016 for the Marine City Area Fire Authority. And that's based on the last 3 years' fire runs average.
Okay, I got the same old question. What was it last time?
It's,
The percentages should be written right into the budget. Each different budget has that reference.
second page there at the top will show you 2022 East China for St. Clair was $131,596. So it's a $10,000 increase.
I have a question.
I don't get
St.
that,
Clair
I
Fire
don't get that out
Authority
of reading that.
budgeting $150,000 every year for a station replacement. What is that about?
They,
You do.
they have outgrown their fire station there in St. Clair and they haven't put any improvements into it in a while, other than they just put some doors on, some exterior doors. So they're wanting to rebuild a new fire station somewhere.
Don't know where yet?
They've got some ideas, but there's still thoughts of them around. They want it to be probably still within the city limits of St. Clair, but a little bit farther out. Not right in, right now, not right downtown,
What's he tell?
because the bridge kind of has to be there.
So we're
Well,
all
that's
part
a
of
bunch of
capital
percentages,
improvement
little,
fund.
Oh,
Buildings they're gonna own, or
Yeah.
is the fire authority gonna own it?
Fire authority will own it, and we will own that percentage. 23.18 as of last year, or this current year. Next year is 24.1.
That's the Green City one.
Any comments or questions? I'll go ahead and make a motion, we approve the budgets for the fire authorities as presented.
Oh, there it is. I'll support that.
Mr. Motts?
I don't like the,
Any
Water
other
thing,
questions? Clerk, please go.
you
Roll
want to see how
call
much it
vote.
costs to
Clerk
run your own
Smith?
fire department.
Yes, Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Nuts?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Supervisor Westrick?
Yes.
That's expensive.
New business
Run
two,
road fire
workers' compensation insurance policy renewal. You have this in front of you here. The 4 different general ledger accounts are listed based on our groups that have employees in. And it's
Well, workers comp, okay.
the amount of $11,280 for the 23-24 year.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure as presented.
Clerk? Support by Ms. Richley. Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call vote. Trustee Blackstock?
Yeah.
Trustee Knotts?
Yes,
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Wester?
Yes. Thank you. Business 3 is MTA membership renewal. I think everybody refers to MTA here, so you see what the dues are. The optional legal defense, which is cheap. I think that's smart. I think we done it last year too, didn't we?
We never do legal defense.
No, we didn't.
we don't ever agree, I don't think we include that legal defense thing you do.
No.
Nah, we got our own lawyer. Again, what are they, what is, that increase, decrease, or what, from last year?
Our credit was more, but our fee is a little higher than, where did I see that?
For last year's dues, I think it's a couple $100 difference, but I don't have.
Just a couple $100 difference? Up, I'm sure, okay. It's helpful for me to compare, to see,
What's
you
the
know, what's
optional
going
legal
on there.
defense cover then, I guess, any the question they're asking? Is that right?
no, I don't,
We were saying we didn't do it?
I don't think it's worth it.
I'm
No.
sorry.
Like we've ever approved it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the paying the membership dues for the Michigan Townships Association for East China in the amount of $7,318.
Support.
What about the online learning subscription, Ralph? You don't like that?
I'm just reading what it says here, action requested, man. Select and approve an MTA online learning subscription.
Is that something we can do after the fact, or?
Yeah, I think we could probably
No.
pick,
Do that anytime.
you can pick that up anytime. You recommended we did the legal defense, Cindy? No.
Never been done. so-
Okay,
We never have.
all right.
Do we use, or would we use the online,
I don't agree with that either, so. That's another $750 to $1,900 more, the dues alone.
It's
you
online
don't
courses,
need that.
Ralph, that you can take.
Yeah, the individual classes, they run like, I don't know, 100 to 200 each, so,
Courses,
yeah.
are they any good?
Yeah, they are. They're very informative.
Well, that's something we can, if we decide.
But I don't know if we've
If
used
someone wants the
enough.
need for it, wants to bring it back to the board, they can, right?
I've taken
Yeah, I would suggest that we keep track of those people who like to go to one of the things, because we approve education on an individual basis. We'll keep track of how much we approve next year. If it comes out more than $1,900, maybe we can consider it next year.
Right.
Okay, been moved and supported for 7318. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call.
Supervisor Westbrook?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Nuts?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
New business for drinking water SRF change order number 2, approval. This was reviewed in the asset meeting here. It was for a tree and some little, basically sanitary leads that were damaged that were unknown in the ground. There's not much to this, so I make a motion to approve that.
Support.
Any other discussion?
How much is it for?
$1,944.77.
Expensive tree.
1,944.
You're gonna get more of these if you get used to it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Contract.
Roll call vote. Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Trustee Nuts?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Babel? Yes. Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Yes. Supervisor Westbrook?
Request for sewer credit, number 5, DPW supervisor, the amount of $14,1276, 3930 River Road, number 59.
Another good reason not to have a power-driven, a
Better than a flooded
water-power
basement,
driven.
though. That's what you'll have if you don't have that.
Oh, I got 2 sump pumps double connected with a generator.
Well, that's the purpose of this.
You go away, when I go away for even a week, I shut my water off. If you got one of these, you have to leave it on, and you're gone for 3
Yeah.
months.
No cost.
And it happens
It's
all
water.
the time.
You're just not paying for the sewer because it's not being
You
processed
still gotta pay for the water.
for the system.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with doing it, but I think it's a good reason not to use that particular device.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the sewer credit request for $1,412.76.
Yeah, 3930 River Road. Support by Mr. Ridgely.
Yep.
Another discussion? Let's please call roll.
Clerk Smith, yes. Treasurer Hart?
No.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yeah.
Trustee Knotts?
Yes,
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Supervisor Westrop?
Yes. Okay, number 6, cemetery ordinance amendments. You want to just cover the ones that are highlighted here? You said we don't need to read this, right?
It's for discussion. It needs to be in the proper format. so
this is for
first
this
reading.
discussion.
Basically, all this is updating the wording to be more appropriate with the times and with columbariums coming in and cremations and being on the rise and just to clean it up a bit. We've omitted some things that were pretty redundant. So everything else is pretty much the same. We're gonna be monitoring things a little better and keeping the grounds up is, more than it could.
I like it because it's a little less restrictive for the purchasing and use. I think it was a little too, you know? Some
Well,
of it just didn't make sense, so I think this is better.
That's, yeah, it
I-
needs
the
wording.
burial sites are only for human remains only, though I can't
You'd
bury
be
my dog on my
surprised the
site.
people that put their pets.
I can't put my dog over there next to me?
No.
All right.
Just have somebody put them in a bag and put them in your pocket and nobody will know.
Nobody.
Put them in with me, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Is that okay then?
Yeah,
What you don't know in
You
box?
don't know, it's in the
Don't know
box. The box
boxing,
is sealed.
Anybody got any comments or questions on any of these?
No, basically it's discussed, so next meeting.
It says to approve, introduce the proposed amendment, text amendments as presented. We have to approve these and then we'll read them at the next meeting. Is that correct?
For the first reading.
as far as I know, I guess. You said
So
it's
make a
not in
motion
the
to approve
format.
these as presented? All right. Just, I'll support that.
Who made the motion?
Me.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? MAMC conference, cemetery conference request. Requesting approval for members to attend the conference August 16th, 18th in Traverse City. This is in the cemetery's budget. Amount.
Oh, they've been doing a good job to try and pick up all the information they can. I have no
So
problem.
the total would be $1342.54.
You can. How much?
$1342.54, I believe it says here.
Yeah, they got listed, but it's not exactly what it's for.
Deb, you want to comment, questions, or is it good? Or?
I make a motion that we approve the Cemetery Advisory Committee to attend the MAMC conference with costs paid by the township.
The amount of $1342.54,
Sound good?
so it shows here. Okay, there's been a motion made.
Well, hold on.
Support by Mr. Ridgely.
Oh. Never mind. It's got travel mileage in it. I was gonna say it'll be more than that, won't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, anybody got any other comments, questions? Clerk, please call roll.
Roll call vote, trustee Babo?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Nutt?
Yes.
Trustee Richley?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Western?
Yes. 8, disinterment fees. Deb, want to comment on that? Current fee schedule.
I read the bottom of it. Is this the new one that's on the back? Because it does talk about disinterment, interment on the bottom. There is a list on the bottom there as to what it is. And the proposal talks like it isn't there, and I'm not quite sure what it is we're supposed to be doing.
I don't think we had the disinterment fees on there in the past. It wasn't on our fee schedule.
No.
So this thing on the bottom is a proposed,
Yes,
is proposed.
yes.
And it just says, for disinterment, regular opening and closing fee, and for disinterment and reinterment, double the opening and closing fee. So you don't have to put numbers on there yet, because you've
Right,
got the
it just
numbers
depends
above.
on which
Yeah.
category they fall in.
Sounds good to me.
So this would be rates adopted and effective as of today up here, really. This is the new schedule you put. Okay. All right.
Will they be in effect tomorrow, the day after we adopt?
Okay. Well,
That's what
that's
we're
your
doing.
department. Anybody got any questions, comments? If not, is there a motion, Deb, for that, approve this?
Please.
Support.
Should I read
I
it?
believe it was, and it was supported.
Did you make the motion?
Yes, I did.
All those
Yeah,
in
go
favor
for
say
it.
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? New business 9, ARPA funds. Okay, let's get into this. We believe we're fine with what we have. We can spend these up to as of December 26th, but, I mean, I've been hashing this over and talking about it, and kind of the plan that we've been working for in my mind here is we gave $50,000 to the park. We spent $32,000 and change on some furnaces and air conditioning systems here. We just gave some to the cemetery. Blaine and Travis are looking for a pump. It's a bypass or a pump, like if a sewer station goes down, they can put this pump in place and renting it now at a tune of 15 to 20 grand each time we gotta do it. And it also would act as a raw water intake pump. For some reason, if the water plant had a problem with intake, they can set it down there and pump water from the river to the water plant. Okay. They got some estimates, but they don't have it finalized exactly. They haven't exactly agreed on what they're talking about, but the bids were in the low 60,000s for that pump, so I wrote down 65,000. And, I mean, if you are thinking about, let's designate these funds now and be done with this fund, I think that's great. Designate 65,000 for the use of that pump, and take the rest towards the DPW building, because we were gonna take that out of capital improvement anyway. And then the ARPA fund is designated and done.
I'm sorry, didn't you tell us once before that we can't split off a project and partially fund it with ARPA funds and partially fund it with TANF funds? I heard that someplace. It had to be all or nothing. You couldn't split it.
Oh, no, you
Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, fine. I thought that'd make it rather
But that's
hard.
just a thought, if you wanna be, because I thought if we spread it around, everybody got some money from the ARPA. That, to me, that was a fair way of doing it
So,
anyway.
the question that I have about the pump, because I don't know anything about those things, but like, when it comes to the pump, is that something that's in the capital improvement plan that's being worked on?
I don't believe that we budgeted for it this year in the capital improvements, did we, Cindy, the pump?
It's not in the budget.
No, it wasn't in the budget, we talked about ARPA funds for it.
We have talked about it before. The
We
thing
talked
is,
about the need for
when
it.
you need it, when you have to have a pump, you have to rent one, because we have to have it. This has been talked about in several different years. Well, why don't, instead of paying, and the cost for renting that pump for a couple of weeks is quite expensive. It wouldn't, in one year, we easily could have bought the damn pump. We haven't had that problem recently, but that was only just for the one item when we
We just- We just used
Yeah.
it for the one
Yeah.
station at that lightning
For the
strike
lift,
or whatever it
but-
was.
So it's one of those things where if you have it, we can use it for all the things that he's talking about. If you don't have it, you have to rent it. You have to rent the guy that's got the big pump on the truck. And so, over a period of time, and like I say, the one time we had to do it, we could have easily bought the pump. We have not had to use one for a long period of time recently. It's an insurance thing. And and the answer is it cheaper to buy the pump and have it available for all these things with respect for the township, or do we just continue to rent them when we need them? So flip a coin.
So the first thing is, before we talk about using it for anything, we need to make sure we're able to spend it, first off. But second off, the thing that, like with that, we have a lot of money in our capital projects fund, like a ton. It's over $2 million, I think, in our fund balance but that's not including the general fund, so I mean, that's an option to use that.
But
for
there's
that.
probably a lot of that designated already with the
Right,
water
right.
improvements or no?
Well,
Towards different projects, right.
for future,
Sitting there, but it's
Well, we
usually earmarked
designated
to a lot of
200 and some thousand towards the DPW building, actually. Instead of doing that out of capital improvements, I said we use our ARPA funds, and then it's still capital improvement project regardless, but
which would be, how much would that be for the pump? If you're,
65,000.
Say 65, give or take a few.
because
points.
we have, so $309,065.21 that we can possibly use.
We
For
spent,
the columbariums.
That was 68.
That was
right?
68,000, so I'm not good at math, so I did it ahead of time.
It's
But
around
that's
241.
241,000.
That's 133 with the pump. 68 for the columbariums and 65, that's 133,000. That would get spent out of that 309. And that leaves-
Approximately.
Yeah, it leaves roughly, I was thinking 250, but whatever the difference is there.
It would be less than, well, it'd be a
167.
little over 100,000.
Yeah, it'd be one,
Yeah, there's nothing that says, Alan,
170 something.
there's nothing that says we can't carry a balance in the capital improvement funds, because you never know when you're gonna need some,
Right.
you know.
Right, yeah.
I just as soon
Together.
spend this other money and continue to maintain our capital projects, capital improvement fund, like capital project fund, I'm sorry, our capital project funds as available money for things that we may need to do that we don't even know about yet. You don't want to get caught short with $1 million one like
Right.
we did one time, right, Sandy? Million one, we had to cough up.
The thing,
Yeah.
the reason I brought that up, because I went to the last park commission meeting, and they have received a grant for a fitness court. And so, they received it last year too, but they weren't able to budget for it. So they were wondering if we could, I have a bunch of information and stuff, but I mean, I didn't wanna overload tonight, but just kind of present the idea, and then maybe at the next meeting talk about it, but it would be in the ballpark of, it depends on whether, there's different things that you can do, but it would be between 130,000 to 212,000. I mean, there's a lot of different variables, like different design work that they would have to work on, but I mean, it's something that they were looking into doing, like they have a list of different, I have a bunch of stuff written on it.
Future projects they haven't started yet?
What's that?
The money you're talking about to allocate to them would be future projects they haven't started yet? Or it would go toward the fitness court?
It would be
they
the
just put in?
the fitness court, I'm sorry, the fitness court, yes. Yep.
Have they already paid for the fitness court?
No, no.
I'm still working with
But that-
the organization that granted them the money. Part of that system is that they're supposed to go to local businesses, the hospital,
Okay, get
and bring in
donations.
money. I believe they presented that to us at some point. and they
Okay.
filled us in on that.
Okay,
It's ongoing. They're
Okay.
trying to bring in the money from the large corporations
Okay.
locally to do that. It's
okay,
very similar to what Marysville did. They have one,
right,
other.
Foundations.
Macomb, yeah.
okay.
But it would be, they have a $40,000 grant, and then I believe it's $10,000 from different, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but different sponsors that they have lined up, so that's 50,000. So minus, I'm not good at math, so it'd be like 90,000 to like 162,000 approximately,
Left that they still have to raise?
yeah,
Mhm.
yep.
And they can pay that out over time, or are they gonna have an
No,
invoice for
no, that
this
would
coming?
be, that would be the ARPA, I mean, that was one of the ideas for the ARPA funds, but the same, I mean, this is one of the things, but then the inches drain repair that we're talking about, that's another thing too. But I think with the pump, in my own personal opinion, that's a capital improvement thing, and we're right now working on a capital improvement plan, and if that falls into that, I mean, that would be,
Yeah, we haven't put that into the capital at all yet. That was something talked about before with ARPA, back at the asset committee meeting here months ago. Ralph was involved with that too.
We were trying to come up with
'Cause
some
we
way
had
to
just rented
spend
that
the
pump.
ARPA money.
Right, right.
Now, what Alan's done now, he's come up with another way to spend the money.
well, I
So
mean,
maybe
just
what
that-
we need to do is list all the ways we
Right,
want to
right.
spend the
Yeah,
money
yeah.
and vote on it. But, you know, it makes, there's no argument as to whether it comes from here or there. The argument was, how do we spend all this ARPA money we got within the rules that ARPA requires? Things that we normally would budget for in the future in our capital improvements, stuff that we budget for in water and sewer, stuff we budget in the park, that are normal items, you know, they're gonna get budgeted for anyway. And if we budget for them using some ARPA money, fine, but the object, beginning was, we had everything budgeted, we were doing fine, and somebody dumped some money in on top of us. What are some good things we can use it for?
Right.
If we now have more good things than we have money, we're gonna have to pick and choose. I kind of go along with what Vern has proposed. Those looks like some good things that we can put in for some money. He's got a $200,000 park item. Do we wanna not do some other things and use the park? I don't really care, but that's what you gotta do.
I apologize, I did not present those numbers correctly. I was doing the total cost, but it's between, let me think, 80,000 and 162,000. So, because you have to subtract that 50,000 they already have, so I mean, I apologize. That was my,
Again, I've been here a little over a year, and I did find out, you know, kind of just through all of this, that way back, we had some problems at the water plant, and they had to come up with some money for the filters right away, and I think it was said that the money was, they'd been saving for DPW building, kind of put money aside for that, and then that money got taken for those filters, $100,000. So I think that it's kind of important that we somehow figure out a way to get that money back. I mean, it's not fair to rob a fund like that and not get, you know, at the first opportunity, get it back to them. Do you know what I mean? That's why we try to get this building done this year, and I think that,
I get that, but at the same time, our fund balance has gone substantially up over the last, obviously I haven't been here that long either, I've only been here a couple of years, but over the last 10 years, the fund balance it's over our budget. Like, we have a bigger fund balance than the actual budget itself, which I understand we have projects that we're planning for, but.
and you'll have that list soon, because we were just looking at that at the asset committee meeting. It's got what those funds are planned for.
Right.
There's some big numbers on there for a lot of this infrastructure work. So yeah, we might have it, but you gotta save now for later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
Start
I
putting,
get it.
like the fire department, or the fire authority in St. Clair is putting money away every year for a building when they need it. It's a $2 million building.
Right.
You know, so they're setting up a savings account, and that's typically, that's the same thing we're doing.
Yeah.
We're just, instead of trying to keep it in our mind that we're saving this for this and this, we are actually listing those items now.
Right.
And the list is well over that amount that we
I
have.
think. this
So
is
that would
something-
help you if you saw that too, but that's coming through.
But
too.
Alan, one of the reasons why it's been going up for years is because I've been here for a while, several terms ago, we didn't have any money in that account. And the object was to start getting some money in the account. So yeah, it's been going up, but that's been deliberate.
I mean, it's always been above, like, what
Always,
I would have
I
to
got
go back
news
through
for you.
the-
About 6 years ago, there wasn't anything in that account.
Well, that's
Well,
it. They
there was.
wiped out the
There was.
capital account because
We dumped
they
it
had a
all.
problem
We
with the
used $1
fund.
million to pay off the
Everything
tax.
was wiped out.
Well, right. But they also save for that too. But
Yeah.
the thing that, like with the capital improvement fund, because I was talking to Cindy about this, but about the fund balance in that.
Mhm.
Because two different, well, there's actually multiple fund balances, but the general fund, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's like 1.6 million, 2.6 million for the capital improvement fund, but then also with DTE, this new plant, we're gonna be getting a lot more revenue as well. So I mean, that's,
And we're getting $500 and some
but the other
$1,000
one's going
payment on a
down.
bond next year
Yeah.
too.
right. No, I got
Yeah.
it. But I mean, that's.
So that got erased real quick. You
That's-
Water and
didn't even get a
sewer
chance to look at it.
infrastructure.
That's
Yeah.
part of the capital improvement, that,
You know, it won't change anything with that, but, yeah.
And as for the
it's
DTE,
tough managing
one's
all
going
this.
way down and the other one's
$10
going
million
up.
worth of
so,
work right now in the township, so there's,
Yeah,
it scares me,
yeah.
especially with the.
'Cause the bills will start
6%.
coming in.
Yeah, 6% contingency on the construction contracts is not very much either.
Correct. It's usually
I'm
10
scared about
at
that
least.
too. We run into something significant out there,
Right.
we're gonna be dipping into the capital improvement fund real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's something we should look at though, whether we have a workshop or something to look at all the numbers, to not just go, well, you know, I would like to know.
I think
like,
at budget time, that would be appropriate.
Right.
That would be
We'll
the
have that
time
prepared by
to
budget time.
bring it
That's
all
what we're working
together,
towards.
'cause that's,
We're working towards that. We don't have a good handle on exactly what we're saving for, what our fund balances are gonna be for. But that, yeah, we wanted to talk about the ARPA funds, and that's kind of my thought. but-
extension of this building. That we haven't talked about how we're gonna fund that yet.
What's that, Ralph?
Somebody talked about a expansion of this building because everybody's sitting on top of their laps, each
We'll
other's
be
laps
lucky
right
to get
now. That'd be, I
DPW
think it's about
done.
$750,000 if you get around to it. That'd put a big dent in your capital improvement fund.
Yeah, it won't be that much, but it's enough.
More
DPW.
building you're building down there.
We won't see that till way after DPW's done.
Yeah.
That's
That'll
gonna,
still
that's gonna be the
take
next thing in line.
On and on and on.
We're hoping to get the
That's not
DPW
even
building
if
done
it's
by the end of the year
project.
and close to our budget, but.
I suggest that we table this discussion until we start talking about budget time, and maybe we're gonna need more than one workshop at budget time.
Postpone it.
Yeah, I don't think there's an
Table
issue
it.
about designating anything
Put it at the
tonight,
end.
I really don't.
No, right, I wasn't expecting action.
That's
just a
fine,
discussion.
I just want to explain my
Right.
idea of what, you know, if there is something that does come up like that, we gotta spend it, but my thought was 65, we were spending it on a pump, we've been talking about that for quite a few months now, we just haven't nailed down exactly which one they want, which one works best for both of them. They've gotten multiple quotes, so, but other than that, I thought it was only fair that we spread it around a little bit in each department in the township, and I think it's, good that we did the cemetery, the park's got the 50,000, and
Right.
and, we spend some here at the
Furnace,
township
windows.
hall for some updates, and I think it's important,
Right.
I mean,
And again,
everybody
that's
gets a piece of it.
That's assuming we still get the funds, that's assuming
Yeah.
we still get the funds.
Alan, relax, we're gonna get the money. It's-
We have it.
I don't-
We
I don't
have
know why
it.
you're all wound
Yeah,
up.
but we
You
have
are the only one that's wound up about the fact that maybe we're
Are
not gonna
they-
get the money. That's not gonna happen.
Vern,
Okay.
are they getting us some
It's been
quotes
discussed.
for the prices on the pump?
Yeah, he already has two,
Oh, does it?
but
Okay,
he's not sure he's working with Travis to make sure the work's on his end too,
okay.
so. He's a little overwhelmed right now,
Besides that,
Yeah.
so, and it's not an item that we need tomorrow, but I
Right.
think it's something that if we're gonna
Absolutely.
get, we need to act on
Work
it.
on that.
Right.
But yeah, he sent me one quote that Cat gave him, but we're working on a couple different companies. We're actually waiting on one, on the company that supplies all the control work and everything for the pump stations, Kennedy. They have a setup too, that we're trying to get a number from them. Any other discussion for tonight on this? Okay, moving on.
next one's yours too.
Alan?
I'm trying to keep up with Debbie. So,
You asked for this to be put on the agenda?
yes, yeah, I've talked with a lot of people on the park commission and, a lot of different people, but anyway, I think that this isn't without precedent, it's been done before, in prior, like, decades. But I think that we should all meet together, because the last meeting that I went to, there was a lot of confusion on communication, and not saying anybody, like, on one side or the other is confused or anything like that, but I just think we should have a workshop together. It's been done in the 70s, 80s, 50s. But I think that's a good idea just to get us all on the same page. And I think it would help the park commission too. I think they feel like they're not being listened to. And I think, like, my thing was I didn't know a lot of things that were going on. And so I've done a lot of research and stuff. And so I just think that, I'm not going to say one person or another, but I mean, I just think we should all kind of.
You mean budget-wise?
No, well, I mean,
Or-
that too, but I mean, just to kind of get on this, just as an example, like, I brought up an idea of just, I think they kind of thought of this too, but I mean, like, a 5-year plan, like, just to, what they expect in their budget, that kind of thing, and what we expect, because they're a separate entity too.
Have
just-
they updated their 5-year plan yet, or was that
They're in the
started?
process of.
This is the year?
They're actually overdue.
You're talking about their master plan? 'Cause that's
Their
different
5-year
from-
recreation plan?
That's different from their capital plan.
Master plan for the park, yeah. Mr. Blackstock, you're kind of like the board rep over there. What do you feel? You want to think we need to have a work
I
session?
think it's fine. I've expressed to them that they can come to this board meeting anytime they would like.
Mhm.
So if we need to have that in a private setting, not on camera, that's fine with me.
Closed
Is there a way
session.
we can get an agenda set up about topics or what issues that they would like to discuss with the board?
We can.
Yeah, I think it's important we have some type of framework for it.
Definitely.
I know they have an extensive list, a wish list of things that they're looking at. They're trying to implement that into their 5-year plan. So the 5-year plan has been done. I don't remember what the date was on their current one, but it's always outlined long-term, short-term projects.
Well, you want to maybe try to get a list of items or discussion topics, and then we can set a meeting for whenever it's good, you can get with me and we can put it on, or
Is that a workshop?
Either an hour before our meeting or
we'll
an
do a
hour
workshop
their
before our
meeting.
board meeting, correct?
If you're gonna have any kind of a meaningful meeting, you better have a list of topics to discuss and stick to the list.
That's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be more than an hour, I can guarantee you
Yeah,
that.
it's gonna be an hour
May
long.
take
You
more
gotta
than one
stick-
meeting.
You gotta
Yeah.
stick to a list there to start with, and, right, and it might take more, but
We
It
can have
always
multiple
does.
ones if we have
Just
to.
be a big shout
Get back with
match
me
if
on
you don't
that,
have
we'll set it
some
up.
controls.
that work for you?
What's that?
He's gonna come up with a list of items Park is looking to discuss with us, and we'll see if we can get it on for one of the next meetings. I'll make sure I email you all to see if everybody
Okay.
can make it, and we'll try for whatever meeting that's coming up that works for everybody.
Okay.
We good?
Yep.
Okay. Move on, number 11 that we've added is recreation program. Kind of behind the 8 ball on a lot of recreation things that, I think COVID had a lot to do with that too, where they get canceled, all that stuff. And then getting back into the saddle of it, it's been suggested that maybe we look into, consider hiring a part-time, permanent, or year-round recreation coordinator, which is kind of what they used to do anyway over there, but I think that's a great idea. And then see if we can't start getting these, take a little bit off their plate in dealing with it. Anybody
this-
else have any questions, comments?
Would this person be a township employee or part of,
It'd be a township employee that would report to our township manager.
And work with the recreation committee, correct?
Correct.
Not the park commission.
Right. Recreation Advisory Board.
They would, so
Almost one.
the Recreation Advisory Board sends us these program ideas. And then there'll be some back and forth, and this person would be that person that says, hey, I don't understand what you're asking for, what you're thinking about, or I see that you missed a couple of points that we should talk about. I'm doing that with them right now, but as they gain more and more ideas, it's hard to keep up, so. And I
And
think
it takes a lot to
that-
organize this and look into it,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
hard for them to do it.
We had a person that used
And
to
we
do
need, it's
that.
hard to find that person, but if you can find it, I'm thinking that's great. But, yeah, I make a motion to approve the township manager recruit and hire a part-time year-round program coordinator. I think that's something that would be a step in the right direction.
Does part-time adequately describe
should it say
the co-
seasonal, you
the
mean?
costs involved in hiring such a person?
I'm sorry?
Does the words part-time adequately cover description of the costs of hiring such a person?
They would be part-time, they would
If it is part-time, it is $20 to $22 an hour, and there's no other add-ons to that.
It would be just like our receptionist is a part-time person with the 5 hours.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just kind of get used to when we're hiring people for plant. Well, you talk about their salary, you have to double it in order to cover the
Yeah,
costs.
Full-time people.
Okay,
It would not be a union job.
okay, thank you.
No.
I'll support.
Mr. Blackstock,
Who
support?
made the motion?
I did. Just roll call or not?
Yes.
Roll call vote?
Like our grass cutter, we got a part-time.
Roll call vote. Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Clerk Smith, yes. Supervisor Westrick?
Yes.
Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
You got it.
I didn't know if I called her yet.
All right, number 12, I believe, is on here. Our water plant supervisor is requesting to do some math training. Math, general math, he did not pass. No, I'm kidding.
You gotta get his numbers right.
Yeah. Anyway,
I recommend that we approve the
8,
training for Mr. Frent for his 3-day course and for math training, and the amount of, as soon as I can find the number,
$815.78.
$815.78.
That's what I was looking for too.
I support.
Okay, Mr. Knott, support by Mr. Babel.
See the
Any
stuff he
questions?
has to do. Good.
Roll call vote. Clerk Smith, yes. Treasurer Hart?
Yes.
Trustee Babel?
Yes.
Trustee Blackstock?
Yes.
Trustee Natz?
Yes.
Trustee Ridgely?
Yes.
Supervisor Westrick?
Yes. Okay. Announcements, member comments. I have one. We met with the bike paths contractor, the guys rebuilding the bike path this morning. And he wants to get started right away, so Blaine's working they marked out their areas and getting a schedule together.
What section are they doing? Sorry.
The bike paths that we
Was
got
it
the
in the
grant
park?
for. Yeah, it was on the Virgin Bay, but it's all within the park.
I see.
And there are gonna be some added sections too, because the bid came in cheaper than what we thought.
I'm sorry, again, run it by me, the location on the bike path that we're going to be working on.
Everything's in the park. It's in the Bridge to Bay, but it's everything's within the park.
Inside the park.
Yeah, all the work is inside the park.
Okay, thank you.
That was proposed. And the bridges as well, there's 2 of the bridges that the ramps are real steep on. And DPW gonna raise those to make them so they're like 12-on-1 slope now, more handicap compliant, ADA compliant. They're having a tough time getting over there though, so we did find a guy, that's a company that's gonna come in and build them for them. It's less than what Blaine budgeted for his guys, so he's fine with that, so that's kind of what we're gonna do with that. And hopefully that'll happen within the next week, and bike path will be going. Probably within 10 days or so, they should get started. They're good contractors, so they wanna get in and get it done, get out, so we don't disrupt this thing all summer long.
All right.
We're gonna do anything with the bridge,
The,
since they finally decided it's not a.
no, we're just waiting to get that tap grant decision on that.
Okay.
They're also doing the one, last driveway, I believe it is, in the cemetery. That's part of the project we're paving to. So they're getting lined up to do that. But anyway, they're getting ready to go on that. I just wanted to give you guys an update there. I don't have anything else, so.
I have a question. Oh,
I have something too. Go ahead.
okay. Do we have a timeline for fixing the yards and people's lawns and stuff after they put all this stuff in?
I can only say generally what they like to do. They like to see a couple rain events, and I sure would love to see a rain event. That settles the ground out a little bit, because if they restore it now, that ground it's in loose, once you get some rain on it, they gotta come back and do it. So I know it's kind of a little bit of a nuisance, but at least it's not mud out there they're dealing with right now, it's just some dirt. But that's typically when they wanna get it restored, is once they have a few rains on it to settle everything down and then come back in and see top.
Which way are you talking about, the pipeline stuff or the digging
The-
up
the-
water
the-
holes?
All the
drinking
digging that
water
they've done in everybody's
work.
yard have had.
Oh, the new water main. The job.
You're talking about the water mains, not the
M29.
WAM where we were digging up the,
On Meisner.
No, those are-
those should all be done. That's what I was
Well, they didn't
concerned
fix
about.
mine yet, but,
Okay.
And Meisner
yeah.
has been,
Yeah, that's typically what they like to do, the mains are in service, they're still doing service bores on on River Road there, on that section.
okay.
To tie it in with that, has there been any movement on the lift station remedy across from the little grocery? I know there's been an issue with that in terms of that sewer.
They did the lining in the sewer line like they wanted to do, they wanted it done first before they go back and replace the manhole.
Mhm.
They were supposed to get on that manhole last week, and I haven't seen anything done out there yet. So, this is one of the emails I sent today, was to the engineer about that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sure Judy's probably wondering too down there.
Right,
Yeah.
it's getting closer
I don't
to
blame her.
July.
Her party's coming up.
July
Torn up for
party.
6 months,
Yeah,
so.
her 2-week thing is
Mm-hmm.
way up.
But they assured us that once they got that lining done, they were supposed to get on that. Any other questions at this end?
I just have a comment. I did get an email from the Parks and Recreation, St. Clair County, that East China's getting $19,916 for two park for this year's.
We got the 18,000 and something last year they got
Yeah.
from the park. Okay.
So that's a plus.
Now,
So I handed, at the beginning of the meeting, the thing with the pink tab is from me.
this love note here?
Yeah.
Love note.
This is with regard to the Council on Aging. At the last meeting, we voted to do the $1,000. The first page is the dollar amount of taxes paid by East China Township residents to the senior millage. The second document is the senior millage budget allocation for this current year, actually. And then the L-4029 and the average paid by East China Township residents. I did the math, so God help us. But and then the last two pages are two of many FOIA responses that I got from different communities. I have all these here if you guys want to look through them. But basically, I'm going to just read this. Upon further research since the last meeting, I have more information to present to the board for future reference with regard to the contribution to the St. Clair County Council on Aging. To be very clear, I support this organization, the work that they do, and the senior millage that financially supports this program. At the last meeting, we voted to contribute money from our township general fund, which we've done for years, to go toward the Council on Aging. I submitted multiple Freedom of Information Act requests to each municipality within our county and also obtained the St. Clair County Senior Citizens Millage Fund budget for this year. Their estimated fund balance, money in the bank, for December 31st of 2023 is $4,435,123. There are 4 senior centers within St. Clair County, one in Port Huron, one in Capac, one in Yale, and obviously the one at the old Washington Elementary School in Marine City. For some reason, communities on the south end of the county are asked to contribute toward the operation of our senior center, yet communities on the northern end of the county are not asked to do so, as you can see from those, from 2 of the many. I didn't want to kill too many trees, but in fact, many leaders in other communities, when asked by me if they contributed toward the Council on Aging, asked if I was talking about the senior millage itself, not realizing that they asked those of us on the south end to donate. Needless to say, we have a handful of communities on the south end, we and a handful of communities on the south end are the only ones who contribute from our general fund. According to the quick tax disbursement, which I obtained through a FOIA request, our township taxpayers alone pay $459,110.68 toward the senior millage. Asking for another contribution from this township is double taxation. The county has over $30 million, or at least they did, in ARPA funds, and not to mention the fact that the Council on Aging pays little to nothing to utilize the Washington Life Center and their enormous fund balance, which does not include the county general fund. Our township has millions of dollars in future costs that we have to plan and save for, and we need to be vigilant in planning for those and spending our tax dollars wisely. I voted at the last meeting to contribute to the Council on Aging as it was a well-intentioned tradition. At our next budget workshop, I will propose that we respectfully eliminate this from our budget, as the county has more than enough money to cover the program and then some. Our taxpayers pay more than their fair share toward this program, and there is no reason we should contribute additional money, as the vast majority of the county, including the county government itself, does not. And that's all I got. Actually, I do have one more thing. positive note, we had a master plan steering committee meeting, and something that we're gonna be bringing up, and our board, hopefully people listening out on Channel 6, we want people to,
This is on TV.
yeah.
Well,
But,
okay.
we want people to offer their input as to what they want to see in our community in the future, and so I hope that we get people to, whether you want us to build a Walmart, well, that's not gonna happen, but I mean, if, you know, if you want different things, then, you know, or don't want different things, then let us know, and this is your opportunity to let us know for the future. And, we will be hopefully sending out a letter, and we're gonna bring that's gonna be an expense to the township board, but we wanna send a letter or postcard to everybody, because we're talking about not a lot of people, like whenever we ask for community input, there's like never anything that comes back, so hopefully that will help get people to,
There will be public hearings as well.
Yeah.
As part of the master plan
yeah,
Yeah.
development adoption.
yeah.
So that'll be advertised as well.
Well, thanks for the information.
Yep, that's all I got.
Had to take you some time. All right, anybody else have anything?
No, just don't put too many lights in my backyard.
Ralph doesn't want any lights.
No more lights.
If not,
Shooting them down.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
is there support?
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, thank you.